Oh, hey, Jessica. Yeah, nice job. So far, so good here. The first thing that stands out to me is the big corn on the cob, which is actually really pretty cool. It seems to be a little bit dominating. I'm not sure. I mean, it's a big size, but I think what it is that you really can't see the details here. So you might want to make you might want to make the hot dog and donut a little bigger, or you might want to use something in the hot dog that makes a little bit more sense with the rest of the imagery, since you've got the donut. I mean, so you've got the hot dog and the corn. Those look, I mean, they're very cohesive. But then you've got the utensils, which don't really relate to the corn and the hot dog, and then the donut. So you might want to spend, some time with the objects. Another thing to think about too is the space, the positioning of some of these, like the whisk. You can actually get more character and animation if you start to really think about, rotating these objects and moving them around and so on. I'm going to put it under this. Anyway, I'm not saying like that specifically, but it will give a little bit more, just unity. I noticed that this big object doesn't have a layer mask. That's really important. You don't want to lose points for those kind of meeting those kind of specs. So let's look at the masks here. Actually, this looks a little bit pixelated. You might want to get a bigger donut, or you might want to get something simpler like an olive. The asparagus is just too small to use. So I mean, I kind of like the idea of it, but you just can't see it. I mean, even when it's big, you can't see it. Let me see what else. I would just look for a few more images. I think that you have a really cool start. I'm just trying to think of what you can do to make this come together more as a cohesive piece, because the objects seem to kind of exist independently. Maybe take the bun out of the hot dog. I don't know, maybe make, the hot dog bigger. It's very long and narrow, which is going to be a problem when you get the background in there. Let's see how the mask looks on this one. Pretty good. This needs to be cleaned up a little bit through here, but other than that, it's, the other part looks pretty good. And be sure to use the name that the client wants, because you don't, again, think of this in terms of meeting the client's, desires and what they want for their product or whatever. So that's what I would suggest. I'm trying to think of what would be better. Maybe something, more horizontal would be good for this. And again, I'm just thinking of, I just go back to looking at some of these other student. I'm trying to give you some suggestions. And where's the food one? I mean, this guy used, some of them don't really relate, but most of them relate. And you can see there's different objects here. So you might want to look at some of these food ones. Let me see if I have his caricature is great. There's way too much going on in the background. Trying to find the other food one. I had a couple food ones in here. Now, again, this caricature is pretty cool and funny, but it looks really flat because it's 1-point perspective. You're not seeing any angles, you're just looking at head on. And so you can see how much this looks so much flatter than, something like, like this that has a shadow and has some depth, or something like this where you see two sides. So anyway, I'm not going to keep rambling on. But I would consider looking, thinking through some of these images, and thinking about the size relationships, and just the visibility. Like, you really want this stuff to pop out a little bit more, and just need to integrate it, the utensils. If you're going to use this corn as the base, I also think if you could somehow either buy it and then peel back the pieces so they're going like that. Even something like this piece where they're coming out a little bit more, or maybe you can just, add some corn husks. I mean, only if you're going to make that the real central part of your, of your caricature, and it seems like it's a real central part. I mean, you can't use this, but something like this where the, where the husk part comes out like that. Because then what that would do, you could even use some of these, and that's too small though, and just add this part to your caricature. You don't have to. You can mix a couple things up. Yeah, this one would be great, but again, Shutterstock, you can't use it unless you pay for it. So yeah, you can look through these. I'm not going to waste all your time like yabbing on about it, but let me go back here. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I hope this helps. Just let me know if you have any questions. Overall, I really like your idea. I think it just needs some clarity and some cohesiveness. Okay, and everything needs to be masked as well.